Lanai, one of the most beautiful Hawaiian islands, favorited by vacationers across the globe. The sunny beaches and gorgeous temperature are what really brings the island to life. As some vacationers are enjoying their stay, some getting ready to leave the island, and residents continuing their daily lives, the government finds out there is a cholera outbreak among the Hawaiian Islands. The Lanai government thinks up a plan to quarantine everyone on the island until the pandemic is dealt with. To persuade the people to stay, they set up a radio and TV broadcast to lay out what's going to happen. If they leave versus if they stay. Inside one of these hotel rooms rests the man who survived Mars, Mark Watney, and his friend Venkat Kapoor after their first day of teaching at astronaut camp.
Ugh, it's been a long day, and these newbies are quite frankly some of the most inexperienced people I've ever worked with. Like, I get that it's supposed to be training, but usually they know a bit more. It's just so frustrating. I'm just gonna go lay down.
All right, Mr. Grumpy Pants. I'll see you in the morning.
People of Lanai. As you know, a cholera pandemic is sweeping the Hawaiian Islands and taking many lives. This waterborne disease will kill you if it reaches your body, and it is very hard to prevent.
Venkat, come look at this.
What's wrong?
However, it hasn't reached Lanai yet. We have made plans to quarantine the whole island until this pandemic has passed. Maintaining a stable living environment will be easy as long as we all pitch in. We will issue jobs and roles to each person based on their experience and skill. We will be shutting down our docks and airports to prevent anything or anyone from leaving or entering. We know that some of you will want to leave to see families, so there will be one boat that leaves to Oahu, if you please. It will not come back, so neither will you. So if you would like to risk you and your family's health instead of surviving the pandemic until it's safe, you may. For those of you who want to stay and survive the pandemic, we will be meeting in the town hall to discuss roles and establish facilities to begin creating and conditioning for our survival. Hope to see you there.
Watney looks over at Venkat, only to be met by Venkat's wide-eyed expression.
Well, what should we do, Mr. Kapoor?
Me? I'm not the one who lived on Mars. You're better at this stuff. I mean, should we leave or should we stay?
I don't know. I'm gonna go finish my burrito while you figure this out.
3 loud, heavy knocks were heard at the door. Venkat slowly and cautiously opens the door, only to be met by 4 terrified faces.
We have been ordered to gather everyone and tell them to head towards City Hall. The local officials want to speak with everyone.
Okay, we'll head that way then. Thank you, and stay safe. We've got to move, quick. We need to know what's going on. Let's go, Mark.
Okay, let me go get my shoes. All right, burrito, you're coming with me.
Everyone on the island shows up the same night, ready to hear the government's plans on surviving the pandemic.
Excuse me, mister. Where is our Taz?
Well, little Jimmy, we are all on the Hawaiian island of Lanai. Our people primarily live in the existing hotels and houses throughout the island. We have 4 community zones spread throughout the island, such as food and water stations, schools, and medical tents.
What are the food and water stations for?
Well, Jim, many people can get food and water for themselves. These zones are there for the injured or elderly people that can't. The food and water zones are put in schools because there are existing kitchens there. We use existing schools on the island so kids won't miss out on education and will be taught life skills.
School? Bleh. I just want to play out in the sun. Does it even get sunny or warm in Lanai?
Yes, it does. The climate on Lanai is generally warm, so we won't need a lot of things to keep us warm. We use proper clothing such as shorts and t-shirts to stay warm, and propane stoves for cooking. We can make simple space heaters by taking 2 ceramic flower pots and putting one upside down on top of the other, which leaves a space inside. We put things like candles inside the space to cause the product to heat up.
Sounds like we could keep ourselves warm and cook our food. Speaking of food, how do we get our food?
To get food for the people in our TAZ, we are going to both scavenge and use our natural options. First, we scavenge homes, hotels, stores, and other buildings that might have food in them. Groups of people go out to scavenge for food with the intention of distributing it equally among everyone. This ensures there is no chaos while people scavenge.
Good thing, too. I'd get pretty crabby if I had less food than someone else.
You and me both. The experienced hunters and farmers lead hunting parties and watch over the farms. We are not getting any help from others outside of our island, so once we go through all the food we scavenged for, we are going to use our other natural resources.
Natural resources?
Yes, natural resources. Lanai has a wide variety of animals we hunt for food. The next option we have is farming. There is lots of land on our island that is not being used, which could be turned into farmland. We grow different food plants like fruits, vegetables, nuts, and several other types of food. There is also the option of fishing, since we have an ocean and rivers. The last option is keeping farm animals. We could keep half our animal population for reproduction and dairy products, and the other half we could use for meat.
That's cool and all, but where does it all go after that?
Once the food is obtained, the food producer will take it to the Food and Water Distribution Center, located at Lanai High School. This is where everyone on the island comes to get their food once a week. We give an appropriate amount depending on the size of the family. If the food is something that has to be cooked, the family has to cook it themselves.
Oh, that's pretty neat. What if someone gets hurt? Where do they go and what do we do to help them?
We have plenty of medical equipment and a hospital we can keep patients in. We use the hospital as a main spot for providing our medical care. The hospital is going to be run by the doctors and nurses that were already on Lanai before the outbreak, any vacationers who have experience in the field, and anybody that wants to help. We will leave it to the hospital to maintain a 24-hour schedule. We use the hospital supplies until we run out of medication, bandages, and other equipment. While the hospitals still have their equipment, other people search hotels, houses, and stores for more supplies.
But what happens when you run out of the hospital stuff?
We use natural remedies as a backup. We should have enough of these natural supplies to provide similar medical care. Long leaves can be used as wraps and bandages. Plantain leaves can be chewed up into an antibacterial paste. We can also use the superfood ginger. Ginger helps with many issues such as heart diseases, cramps, morning sickness, and other internal issues, which gives it the superfood title. We can actually craft our own syringes out of bamboo or other hollow containers, a wasp stinger, and a small branch or rigid plant stem.
Wow, I had no idea you could do so many things that you find outside. But what about all the garbage?
The Waste Management Team, or WMT, is a group of people whose main goal is to take all the refuse and human waste to the landfill to keep the island clean. For the refuse waste, we provide garbage cans everywhere so people can throw their stuff away. The WMT dumps the waste out of the cans into garbage trucks, which then dump it into our landfill, just like the garbage system we use today. For human waste, we use the sewer system that is already in place.
Oh, but what about all the potty needs?
We have no plans to turn off the water for our septic system, but if we must, we have a backup septic system that doesn't use any water. We dig holes outside each neighborhood and place 5-gallon buckets in each one. The people in that neighborhood can dump their human waste into the bucket until it is filled. The WMT will stop by when a bucket is full and dump the waste into a septic tank. The waste is transported to the landfill located in the Garden of the Gods, where all the other waste is taken and stored. Nasty, but efficient.
I'll say, how are you supposed to communicate with the outside world and with all our people?
We have 3 things that need to be accomplished with communication: talking to others within our TAZ, talking to the outside world, and relaying the message of the pandemic to the people on Lanai. First, we need to talk to each other in the TAZ using an array of radio systems. We also use walkie-talkies so people in agriculture fields can communicate. Secondly, to talk to the outside world, we use different social media platforms as well as an AM/FM radio to learn about the pandemic status. To relay updates on the pandemic to others on the island, we use billboards and infographics so people can get a visual of what's actually happening.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I really like walkie-talkies. They make me feel like a spy. I have one last question. Where do we get our water from?
Since we have no help from the outside world, we need to get water from our island. That includes both finding it and purifying it. On Lanai Island, we have many rivers and natural streams that we're going to connect a water pipe into. The pipe sucks in the water from the river and streams and into our water tanks. Since cholera can infect open wounds, we put solar water stills by hospitals and medical tents so the people can shower with clean water to prevent infection through the skin.
Wow, I didn't know getting us water was so hard and required so much effort. Is all the water clean though?
No, we have to purify our water. In order to purify water for our TAZ, we are using two methods, creating a water still and using a 3-step purification method. A water still is a type of water purifier that uses solar and electric heat. The water still heats the water inside the box, which causes the water to evaporate. Once it evaporates, water droplets condense onto a sheet of glass and then run down into a tube we placed inside the water tank. We have 2 water stations on the island, and each station will have a water still. The water stations have assigned people to distribute water to each person and to monitor the stills. The second way the islanders purify water is using a method called the 3-step method. We have experienced members of the island teaching the islanders how to do this 3-step method, so we don't have to rely on the water stills and wait in long lines for their water.